Hello, everyone. Welcome to Adobe Live. My name is Ellie. I am here with Rachel Hanna today. Hi, Rachel.
Hello, hi.
How's it going?
Yeah, good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you guys for being patient. We had a little bit of internet issues, but we are live and we are so excited to share with you Rachel's beautiful work today. And it's going to be a fun stream. We're going to be on Lightroom mobile and Adobe Spark. So it's a little bit different than our normal streams. And I'm really excited to see you work, Rachel, and learn about your process. So thank you so much for hanging in there with us. So if you missed our latest Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge, you can watch the replay going on all week. That was right before the stream. You can watch the replay of that, and there's going to be another replay tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific time. So make sure to check that out. And let's just say hello and see who's been hanging out in the chat with us for the last little bit. Say hi, let us know where you guys are watching from. Looks like we have a lot of people joined already. We have Daniela from Uruguay, Robert, Cody, Sean. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being patient. It's going to be super fun. We're going to have a great time. So if you are watching on Behance, make sure to hop into the chat and let us know where you guys are watching from, and feel free to ask questions, share your comments. Yes, we're going to be back in just a few minutes, you guys, if you want to just hang tight for 1 minute.
My camera on.
Okay, we are back. Thank you guys so much for being patient and hanging in there with us. We are hopefully ready to get started now and really excited to share Rachel's work with you. So like I was saying, if you are watching on Behance, make sure to jump in the chat, say hello. Feel free to ask questions as we go along, or comments, anything that you want to share. And Rachel will be able to answer those questions, which is super fun. So if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to go over to behance.net/live so that you can join in the conversation. If you're commenting on YouTube, we won't be able to see you. So without further ado, let's jump right in. And Rachel, I want to share some of your work. We're going to hop over to your Instagram, and so everyone can go ahead and follow. It's Rachel Hanna, and see your gorgeous images. And do you have any favorites that we should pull up larger for everyone to see?
Oh,
I
yeah,
love
any wildlife, anything,
love
yeah, any
this one.
wildlife.
Yeah. So Rachel is a wildlife outdoors photographer, lifestyle photographer, and this is just gorgeous. I love these cows. I love the texture in their fur and the framing of them. It's just so beautiful. And I love this, like so magical. And you're in the UK, right?
Yes, yeah, that's right, near Liverpool.
Yeah. So that's why you have all these like gorgeous, magical images.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I mainly just travel around the UK, just Scotland, Wales, Dorset, everywhere. Just yeah, finding places that people may not have photographed before, but also like
Yeah.
some of the hot spots on Instagram that people like to go. I like to try and get my take on it and put my style to it as well.
Yeah. I love that. Well, your work is beautiful, and I'm really excited to get into your process and see how you edit, especially since we're going to be on mobile. I think that's so fun. And so let's just go ahead and jump in and get started
Yeah.
with that. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
All
Finally
right.
ready.
We're ready. Let's
Oh,
go.
gosh. Okay, right. So you can see my screen there yet. So what I've done is I have a load of photographs that I've taken from Scotland and areas around my end that I really want to sort of, put my edit to for autumn. I want to start planning my feed. I want all the colours and everything now just taking over my Instagram feed. So I thought, what better way to do it than to go on a live with you guys,
Yes.
and we can sort of edit together as we go along. So yeah, I think what I wanted to do was just start off a little bit with my process. So I do shoot mobile and I only edit on mobile. So which is quite unique really, because a lot of
Yeah.
photographers sort of edit on Lightroom CC and they don't really touch mobile, or they might do, but just not very often. So I wanted to show you that how I get my images from a camera or whatever I'm using to my Lightroom app. So what I use is, I don't know if you can see it, but there's like an adapter.
Yes. For your memory card?
Yeah, so I put my memory card in there.
Yeah.
And because it's an iPhone, it's got the lightning adapter.
Yeah.
And then I just pop it in my phone. And then if I go here, if I scroll up and click the little picture there, and then where it says from files or camera device, I just click camera device and it, all my photographs on the SD card pop up, and then I can just transfer them straight over. And that's, raw photographs that I've taken on a camera or whatever.
That's awesome. So you don't have to put them onto your computer and then share them to your phone. You can just go directly to your phone.
Yeah, exactly. So sometimes I will. So like obviously this adapter here, it's got the USB element to it. So I can plug it straight into my computer.
If you wanted to.
Yeah. And if people, don't want edits, I can just transfer people them on, WeTransfer, whatever.
Yes.
Yeah. Or yeah, mainly what I use it for is to plug into my phone and then download the photos that way.
Cool.
So yeah, I get a lot of questions asked like, oh my God, I can't believe you just edit on your phone. What's the process of that? And also it helps if you've got a phone with a lot of memory.
Yes.
So yeah, I had to upgrade my iPhone. I think it was like 500, is it 500 gigabyte they have now? I can't remember.
Yeah.
So yeah, it helps if you have a high spec memory, but I just import straight into Lightroom. So
yeah, cool.
So what I'm going to do is now is, so I've gone through my workflow. Is anyone asking any questions? I can't see the feed.
Oh yeah, I have it right here. We just have some comments about your work. Cody says, I love Highland cows. And Daniela says, me too. Birding and nature is my genre. Lovely images, Rachel. Steve says, fantastic nature and wildlife photos, Rachel. And then there was a question about the different versions of Lightroom. So there's classic, cloud, and then iPad as well, and then mobile. So the question was, is there a difference between like iPad and mobile Lightroom? Do you use iPad at all, or just on your phone?
So Yeah, so I download Lightroom mobile on the iPad, which obviously, you know, the iPad is a bigger screen, so it can help sometimes. Where, you know, especially when I'm using like the healing tool, and on my phone's a bit, you know, small, and my fingers are a little bit, you know, too big. Really helps in that respect. So yeah, no, definitely I do, and that adapter obviously it works with an iPad
too.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. And then Shayna's asking if you edit on the go. Do you edit when you're out and about shooting, or do you edit everything once you get back home?
Yes, it's a bit of a mix. So if, you know, say for example, I was in Scotland and I took a photograph that I was really like, I couldn't wait to edit. My partner would probably, you know, drive, and then I'd be sat in the passenger seat, like uploading the photographs and trying to edit. So just to see what it would look like with my style to it, and then I'd probably work on it a bit again. But my style changes quite a lot. I tend to go with the seasons. So on my Instagram, you know, it'll go to an autumn feed, and then it'll go to like winter colors, and then it'll try and bring in spring and summer colors, and then autumn is my favorite month. So I tend to try and post as much as I can during autumn, because it's my favorite time to photograph. It's my favorite, you know, editing style and all the colors. So
that makes sense, since you're shooting so much outside and wildlife, that like your photos would change because the scenery and what you're photographing is changing as well, and you're being inspired by that, I'm sure. So it's like as that's shifting, your style is shifting, and that just makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, exactly. And I just think as well, in the summer, I always find, I don't know about anyone else, but I always find that it's difficult to photograph in the summer because the lighting is too bright, you know. Everything kind of looks samey, whereas with autumn you've got all these like you know, amazing colors, and you've got like reds, browns, yellows,
all
orange,
the warmth.
Just a bit more of a cozy feel.
Yes, for sure. There's a couple other questions. Daniela is asking, you're loading the card, but how many photos can you have on your phone?
That's a good question. So this is where I go back to having a lot of you know, memory on your phone. So I won't click through, but I think I've got about 65,000 photographs.
That's crazy.
And they're not all like you know, from my camera or what have you.
Yes, they're just from your phone too. And screenshots and all those.
This is why I say it's really important to have you know, iCloud backup, or Google Drive, or, you know, OneDrive, or anything like that, you know, to back up your files, and then you can just, I use an external hard drive. I've got loads of external hard drives, and every now and then I just make sure that I, you know, transfer my photos off and, you know, put them on an external drive, just in case, you know, God forbid anything happens. For sure.
Cool.
Cool. Okay, so is that no more questions on sort of like,
I don't think so. If I missed anything, feel free to ask again, but let's go ahead and get started editing. And feel free to continue asking questions and sharing your comments and your thoughts with us as we go along.
Okay, so I have got some photos that I'm going to edit tomorrow as part of a series. So I encourage people to sort of jump onto tomorrow's, because I'm going to create a series in Adobe Spark, you know, from Scotland and wildlife and everything. So the photographs I'm going to concentrate on today, we'll just go through and edit these, and I'm also going to create a preset, show you how to create a preset from the colors and, you know, and the style we put to it, and then how you can copy and paste those settings on other photos. So without further ado, let's jump in to my favorite. This is of I can't remember this castle. If people watching this are gonna be like, oh Rachel, why can't you remember? But I can't remember this castle, but it's absolutely beautiful. And it was featured, if you've ever watched James Bond Skyfall, it was featured in there, so on that film. So so a lot of my work as well I put on Instagram, so I have to be mindful of, you know, the 4:5 ratio. So whenever I start off editing a photo, I always 4:5 and then check the frame. So am I happy with that? No, No, but it's probably around the middle. But I try and shoot to frame it, if you know what I mean. So try and frame my photos with that in mind, that it's going to be 4x5. What would it look like on the grid in the square?
Yeah.
Because if I went to the 1x1, that's what it would look like on the feed.
It'll crop even more. Yeah.
Yeah, and then when people open it up, if I go back to the original, that's what it's like 4x5.
Yeah.
Cool. So
beautiful.
Initially, I would put my preset over the top of this, because my presets that I have are sort of base, sort of like templates. So you apply it, and then you might need to adjust everything, but it's just a basis of like the tone curve and the color grading is already all set, and then I just apply, change the highlights, the contrast, and everything else. So, but I'm going to start from scratch.
Perfect.
So people can see the process.
Show us, the full process. We want to see it all.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So first off, I'll start off with this photo, and I will go to light. The first thing I do is always I go to light, and then I always go to the curve tool. And I apply my 3 dots like that. And then I move this top curve down a bit, which is sort of the highlights. So I always bring that down a little bit. So if I did that, it's really high. But I always like the soft muted. So I always bring it down ever so slightly. And then at the bottom here, I always bring the shadows up a little bit. So as you can see, it adds a little thing, but I always do it about there. Yeah, I think. Yeah. I'm happy with that. So that's it with the tone curve. Literally, that's all it is. And I do tend to play a bit, but I'm happy with that. I think, yeah, happy with that. So
yeah, nice to move them around a little bit just to see what it does, and then
as you can see, it sort of takes the contrast out of it a little bit. But I may go back, and then I might adjust the contrast here.
Add a little bit back.
Yeah, I do play around a lot. But yeah, I always drop the highlights, the exposure down a little bit, but I want to try and keep the colour in the leaves. If I go too far, then it loses everything. If I go too light, then it looks horrendous. So move it down a little bit.
Kind of bringing that moodiness. A lot of your photos are very moody, which I love. It's so especially for right now, it's so cozy.
Yeah, a lot of people say that I like mood.
Shayna asked if you use different temperatures for each season, right?
Actually, that's a good point. So for autumn and with the oranges and yellows and stuff, I will tend to up the temperature a little bit, and obviously if it's cold and wintry and there's a bit of snow, then I might just drop it down a bit.
But a little cooler.
Definitely. A lot of my images I do drop the whites out, but I think this one is it's going a bit too dark, so I might just up them a bit. And that's it for light. That's it. I mean, I may go back to this. But that's it. I'm happy with that at the moment. And then I go to colour. So what I always do is I like the shadows to show a little bit of sort of like blue hues, and the highlights to be sort of warm. So if I go to colour grading, so the shadows here, I'll move it up to the blues. So it's always around about 218, I think. About there, and then just move the saturation up a little bit. So if you move it up, it just makes it go everything blue, but I just like to move it up just a tad. So as you can see in the shadows, I don't know if you can see it too well on the screen, but the shadows just get that little bit of a blue hue, and then the luminance, now I don't really touch that, to be honest. So that's the shadows. And then if I move along to the highlights, I like warm highlights, so it's usually about there. I just move it. So this then adjusts the sky on this one, but I like it to be usually about there. Okay, so that's colour grading. You can do so much with colour grading. There's been some instances where I've literally you can really manipulate and change the whole image just by like colour grading. It really is a good tool to really try out on your images. So I definitely recommend just playing around with the shadows and highlights on your photos.
Absolutely.
Here, I don't think if I warm it too much, it's too green, and that's too blue. So I'm not really going to touch the temperature too. And also, this wasn't a raw photo. This was a JPEG. If you shoot with raw, there's a lot more. You can edit the photo a lot more with a raw than you can a JPEG. So yeah, I'm not
more
gonna
limited with a JPEG.
yeah, I'm not gonna faff with that too much. Okay, so I'm gonna go into HSL and mess around with some of these colors. So let's get some of this autumnal color in. So if you go, it's too green. So I'm going to knock the orange hue, so it brings out that redness and that orangeness.
Yes.
Yeah, as you can see in the leaves, it's bringing it out. So if I just move that down, sometimes you can overdo it. So I don't know, actually, I might just move that up a little bit there.
Daniela says the photo already has kind of a painterly effect, at least to my eye.
Yeah, it's a lot of with this sort of castle shot, a lot of people take pictures of it from like above or from a different angle. And I'm all about trying to be, you know, it's nice to take photos the same as what everyone else does, but I try and find
a different way.
Yeah, and how you can frame that different from everybody else to stand out. Because this particular photo got, when I edited it up, it got shared by Visit Scotland, which is like, you know, I think it's got a couple of million people following it, and because it was different, it was a different sort of angle to it than what is usually of this castle.
It was unique. Shayna was asking, how did you know how to take, or like that's the good place to take the shot, and so you were just kind of looking for like a different view and then like creating the frame with the tree and all of that.
Yeah, so when you photograph a lot, you sort of get what I call like photography eye. So I can almost see a photograph now in anything, like anything can be a photograph. So usually at these locations, I'm sort of just walking about and just looking at it from different angles. And I just saw these autumnal trees. You know, they weren't orange, obviously, as you can see, they were sort of green, but there's like a hint of orange in them. So I just sort of walked over and thought, oh, can I try and frame the trees around the castle and create this sort of like different angle? So I just sort of like leant into the bushes and tried to frame it that way. But yeah, it's something that comes naturally to you after taking photos for like ever.
You can train your eye to see things in a way that's going to be interesting and dynamic. I always
think when you go to a place, think when you arrive and your main purpose is to take photographs of this, it could be a person, it could be anything, just think how can I make this different to how everybody else takes it? It could be that you get lower on the floor and get it, getting a sort of like different
change
shot
your perspective.
And again, looking at the trees around you, can you try and get in some trees and try and frame the trees around it? Just think, instead of just standing there taking a photo, done, move on, think how I can frame this differently to stand out.
Absolutely. Steve says, I believe that's Eileen Donan Castle. Does that name?
That's the one.
That's it. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Somebody had to know. Someone had to know.
Thank you. I can't believe I forgot. I've got so many pictures of it and I forgot.
That's okay. Bruce is asking, Rachel, how do you catch those zooms? Do you add any iPhone lenses to your iPhone when you're shooting? But this you shot with your camera, or this you shot with your...
I must add. I do take photos on my phone. Usually if I forgot my camera, but there is ability in Lightroom mobile to take a photograph straight from the app on your phone, which I recommend as well, because you can shoot raw that way as well from your phone. Definitely recommend that.
Do you use a little lens on your phone if you do shoot with your phone, or you just go straight?
No, I don't use lens. There are attachable lenses that I've used in the past, but because of my case, they don't sit on properly. But there's loads and loads of little lenses out there that you can use, like telephoto ones, and they could probably do the same job. So if you were to attach one of those, go into Lightroom mobile, go on the camera, and then shoot raw, you're gonna get a good picture.
Yeah, for sure. What camera do you use when you're shooting with a camera?
So I currently use a Sony A7 III. I shot a lot of my photographs on a Canon 80D, and then I moved to the A7 II, and then I've got the A7 III. So,
cool.
Yeah, and also I do shoot a lot. I do shoot a lot of this stuff as well on the kit lens that comes with the Sony A7 III. So
Wow.
I hear, you know, there's not a lot of, I mean, some people like it and other people are like, no, you mustn't use
Never
a kit
use
lens.
a kit lens. Yeah.
But I do, and I find a way to make it work.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you can spend like loads and loads of money on, you know, these lenses, but because I'm shooting outdoors and it's mainly for social, you know, social media and stuff, just using the kit lenses, you can make the kit lens work. You know.
That at the end of the day, it's your eye, like you were talking about earlier. Like it's your eye and knowing how to frame things, knowing how to make something look interesting and unique. And you can do that with any kind of lens, or you could buy a really expensive lens, but if you don't know how to shoot it well, then it's not going to matter. So it's really more about the photographer.
I have seen some absolutely fantastic photographs taken on a phone.
Yeah.
And especially, you know, with the iPhone, I don't know if you can do it, and I'm sure you can. But, you know, with an iPhone, when you shoot live, you can shoot long exposure shots. So I've been to waterfalls where I've got my phone out, I've put it on live, I've taken the photograph, and then you sort of swipe up on the photograph and you've got all these options along the bottom. One of them is long exposure. And there you have it. If if you're shooting in Lightroom mobile and you're shooting raw and you do a live shot, then boom, you know, you've got a long exposure.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I know. I taught
and
someone.
It's only getting better.
Yeah, exactly. I told someone about this a few weeks ago, and they were blown away that they could just stand by a waterfall, use their phone, and they've got this long exposure photo that, yeah, you know, cameras are probably a little bit better in quality,
but it's still pretty incredible.
Yeah, if you're just putting it on Facebook and Instagram, then it's perfect.
Yeah.
Right. I was editing this. I was trying to get the oranges hues. Let's take the greens right down. Let's done the grading. Let's just have a look at this at the moment. It's probably a bit too much blue. I might put a vignette on, just to draw the eye into the centre a little bit more. Yeah, one thing I do sometimes as well is I use the sort of radial tool and to zoom. So if I had to zoom in a sec, because it was JPEG and I don't really get that much room to edit with it, I will sort of drop the saturation in this a little bit. So dropping the saturation on the castle, because it was a bit too orange for me before. I didn't like it. Yeah,
you're able to make some more fine-tuned or like specific adjustments.
I might just put another one. Hold on a sec. Let's put another one on. I was just trying to drop the colour because, you know, the castle itself was mainly sort of like grey. And also sometimes I will sort of up the contrast just a little bit.
Bring a little bit more detail in.
Okay, I think I'm happy with that. I don't know, what does everybody else think?
Does anyone have any comments?
Yeah, it looks a little bit dark on the screen. On my phone it's all right. It's a little bit dark on my screen.
Yeah.
Move that a little bit.
Yeah, I think it looks great.
Cool. Okay, we'll stick with that for now. Okay, so let's do another one. I like this one. So this one was taken with my drone of the trees all changing colour, and they look like different coloured popcorn or something.
Yes.
They're all these different colours.
The texture is so good.
Yeah. Just taken with my little drone that I don't use it anymore. I had the DJI Spark, and it's sort of like a beginner drone, I think, but it did me well. And actually on this trip, I lost it for about an hour because after taking this photograph, it lost battery, and I'm one of those people that will push it to the max of like, I'll be okay, just give me an extra minute and it'll be fine, I can get it back. And at this point, no, it was just sort of like falling from the sky, and I was like, oh no. And it kind of it fell somewhere. Anyway, I found it, which is good.
Oh my goodness. I'm sure that was stressful.
Yeah.
Shayna's asking what kind of camera is on a drone.
So I'm using a DJI Mavic. Is it Mavic Air or DJI Air 2S now? That's a good question. I don't know what camera's on it, but I use this like filters that come with it as well that I can put over on the Spark. This particular one on Spark, I'm not quite sure, to be honest with you. I know the quality, if I try and zoom in, the quality isn't that great. But again, you know, for social posts,
on an Instagram feed, it's going to be so small anyway.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't. I mean, if I was going to print it, I'd probably print it small.
Yeah.
Because it does lose a bit of quality. But you know, the DJI Spark was probably, it's mainly, I think, just a beginner drone.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So let's get editing this. Okay, so the curve. Let's put the curve in again. Drop this. Have a little.
Yeah, so the more you play around with it, the more you're able to kind of figure out what your style is and then repeat those same steps on.
Exactly, yeah.
The photos, like slightly adjusted for whatever that photo is, but you're kind of doing, you know, the curve the same as you did in the last one because that's part of your
Exactly.
your
so
style.
I will have, I mean, I tend to drop the highlights right back, but again, I'm not sure I want to on this. But I do have set, you know, I drop the highlights, drop the whites, up the shadows.
Yeah, kind of your routine that you go through as you're editing.
Yeah, so that's why then, like with my preset, I'll just put the base over the top, and then because each photo is different and it was shot in different light and different settings, you then have to adjust ever so slightly.
Make those little adjustments, yeah.
So let's about 218. Yeah, I'm not feeling the blues on this one, I don't think, so I'm not going to up them too much because I don't want to lose that sort of warm, the warm colouring of it. So I'm just going to go to the highlights. A little bit. Okay, where it really does come to life is in the colour mix. So let's bring them reds out a little bit. Go to orange.
Daniela is asking, does the healing tool work well on Lightroom mobile?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, there's one particular shot that I'll talk about in a little while. It took me about an hour to edit with the healing tool because there was, I mean, I'll talk about it in a bit, but I mean, there was so many people around this particular house, and I had no other chance to be able to go back because it was miles away. So I had to just take the photograph and then think, right, let's just put it into Lightroom and see what I can do with the healing tool. I was just fortunate the house was covered in leaves, so I could sort of use, you know, because leaves just look like leaves. So I was able to sort of use that to its advantage. But yeah, I mean, I have no issues with it. As I say, I don't use desktop Lightroom mobile, and there's a reel on it where I've edited on my Instagram page of a deer that I took in the snow. It had a deer behind it. It happened to just be in the shot, and I used the healing tool and completely got rid of the deer. You wouldn't tell. So I'd probably say edit on you know, if you've got a bigger screen, you know, use a big screen. But yeah, I mean, if you've got a pen as well, like, you know, like a little stylus or whatever, that you can use, that helps. But I've got no issues.
iPad could come in handy too because it's a little bit bigger.
Yes, exactly.
You have the pencil. Shana's asking, how do you know if a photo fits a specific preset? Like, is the Highland Cows picture the same preset as what you're showing right now? How do you know that a photo, I guess the main question is, how do you know if a photo is going to fit within a preset that you have?
Okay, so if I go to my presets, so these are my autumn ones. So these are ones that have worked well on my favorite photos, and I have saved them into a preset. So for this particular shot here, I actually think that autumn pine cone would sit well. Yeah. So I think that sits well. It just, I mean, I just go off my favorite photographs, really, take the styles of each of them. So I've got about 4 or 5 photographs that I really like, that have got a range of different like colours in them, save the presets, and then I'll just apply it to my photographs. And yeah, so autumn golds is probably, it's too gold.
Yeah,
it's far too gold. I may use it if I like, you know, I might just try it and go, okay, let's just reduce, but no, for me it brings out too many greens, so I'll leave that. I'll go back to autumn pinecone, and I quite like the look of that, but all I might need to do is just adjust the curve and sort of drop that bit so it brings out the trees a little more. Yeah, so it's just trial and error, really. I have a set presets that I like, that work well on my favorite photos, and then just see if it fits. If it doesn't, then I might need to adjust again, like the brightness, the highlights, the contrast, the shadows, just to get it to fit. But if I was to go back, and if all these were edited, I'd be able to see. So they're along the bottom. Can you see like these two along the bottom here?
Yes.
If they were in the feed together, they might look quite well. They might sit quite well together because they've got the same sort of colours and
the same tones.
This one here, this is the one I was on about with the healing tool.
Oh my goodness. There was people in the front of the house?
Yeah. So this house is really
great.
It's really popular. It's a tea room actually in Wales.
So cute.
And yeah, during the autumn, obviously the leaves just pop of like red. It's just beautiful. If I show you the before of this,
wow.
So there was loads of people, there was signs and everything all around the door that I just did not want in my photo. And yeah, I mean, this one, there are others where there's people in front of the door, but I chose this one. I like this one, and I was able to just sort of zoom in, and yeah, you see,
yes,
just using the healing tool.
That is showing the power of this tool right here, though, because that's pretty impressive that you're able to do that on your phone with an app. Like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it helped the fact that the house was full of leaves. So I was able to just, you know, pick the leaf, and cover it, because the rest of the house is covered, so you would never know. But if I go over here, I mean, there's a little bit here where I've just missed this lady's coat, actually. Oh no, it's bugging me. Oh no, it's a fella. It's bugging me. Yeah, look, so you can see that there's all those people there. Yeah. And then, yeah, you can just sort of get rid of them, and you just use the background. Yeah, just, yeah, it was, and then there was quite, I think it got a bit complicated there because there's loads of healing tools. But yeah, it's just it's whatever you're happy with. I mean, I could have gone further and got rid of the line, you know, the power line out, but I just thought you can't see it from that far away.
Yeah.
So I'll leave that. But yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. That's really impressive.
Yeah. So it just shows you the power of the healing tool. Yeah.
Absolutely. And then it's cool to see all your different presets too. So you have multiple presets and you can kind of play around with which one works best with that particular image, because they're not all going to work. It's not just one preset that's going to work on every single photo that you ever take.
No, exactly. So I have winter ones as well. So obviously Winter Highland looks hideous on that. And then there's like winter greens and browns that just, just completely got rid of the reds and stuff.
It's just not as cozy. Yeah.
No. So I think I did autumn pinecone with this, and then just sort of adjusted the warm colours to it. So that was the final one. So I just adjusted the warmth and a bit more of the orange. But initially I started off with autumn pinecone, and then just adjusted.
Yeah. Cody says, I love using my main preset and then tweaking the edits per photo. Editing is mostly intuitive. It's a gut feeling. Yes, absolutely. Shayna's asking if you sell your presets.
I do, yeah. They're on my Instagram, on my link in bio.
Okay. So Rachel's Instagram is It's Rachel Hannah, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So we'll have someone drop the link in there for you guys so that you guys can click through, follow her, and then buy her
follow.
presets. Yeah.
Let me know as well. Like, let me know if you followed me, and I can check out your work as well.
Say hello.
Yeah, definitely.
Perfect. Cool. Thank you for showing that.
Yes. So does anybody want to choose one? I don't know. I don't know, does anybody want to choose a photograph
Okay,
for me to edit?
asking in the chat, let us know which photo you would like Rachel to edit next. We'll see what everyone says. Maybe if you want to flip through a few of them a little bit closer in, we can see.
Yeah, okay. Let's go. So we've got an old bridge, and we've got this was actually a guardhouse, but I thought it was really beautiful because it looked like a little castle. But it's actually where the guard sleeps. That's like his little quarters. But I just thought, yeah, it's really beautiful. And then we've got this one was quite good. I like this one because again, this one I used the healing tool in to get rid of the bins, to get rid of. So I don't know if people want me to edit this and see how I do it.
Yeah, it sounds like everyone's wanting an animal. Shayna says one with animals. Daniela says the one with the squirrel, maybe.
Oh, with the red squirrel.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Let's edit the red squirrel.
I love this one. Let's do this one.
Let's do this one. Okay, so usually I would just put my preset on. So if we were to have a look, I'd probably go with autumn golds and then adjust. But let's just go from scratch.
All right.
If people are happy with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, let's play with the curve and let's up the shadows a little bit. I know I'm going to keep the exposure as is, and just drop the contrast actually a little bit. Down the highlights, the whites. Okay, I'm happy with that. Color grading. Let's go to our shadows. No, I'm not keen on that because it's too blue. I think. I don't know, I might go back to that. Let's go to highlights. I have to remember that I'm still on the camera because I'm so used to editing.
Looking at your phone.
Yeah. I'm so used to just being sat on, on the chair editing. It's funny this. I keep looking up at the screen. Okay, it's so different on the screen. Okay, let's go to mix. Let's get straight into these colours. I'm not keen on all this green, so I'm going to whack that down. I think that green in the background is actually blue, so let's strip that colour out.
Cody says squirrels are so cute.
Oh, I know, the red squirrels. Honestly, red squirrel. I love grey squirrels, red squirrels, whatever.
Yes.
They're not so popular, the grey squirrels in the UK, because apparently they carry a disease which is really bad for our red squirrels. Yeah, so the red squirrels don't. Apparently, I don't know. They're doing all right, I think, but they're doing better in Scotland. So this is where this was taken.
So cute. I love it. Shayna's asking, how did you learn to mess with the curve instead of slider bars?
YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube, yeah. So when I first started out on Lightroom, I didn't know what anything was. A lot of the time, I am a sort of person that will just go on an app, go on a software package, and I'll learn how to use it myself. But yeah, I think just YouTube and things, looking at what other photographers do, how they use the tools, and then applying that into your own work.
Yeah.
And then that's how you eventually begin to find your own style. Is look at your favorite photographer. If they have a YouTube channel, watch it, see how they edit their photos, and then see how you can apply that to your own. That's how I learned.
Yeah, there's so much free content out there. There's so many past live streams on Adobe that you can watch as well too. If you go onto Behance, you can see all the past streams. You can see which programs you want to learn, and what's great on the replays is you can fast forward if there's something you already know, or you can rewatch things multiple times. So yeah, great place to learn as well. There's so much great free content online that you can use to just improve your skills. Is there any specific tutorials or people that you watched when you were learning? Shayna's asking.
That's a very good question. There isn't actually any particular person that comes to mind. It's just a lot of outdoor photographers. If they have a YouTube, if people want to message me on Instagram after, I can send them loads of links to things that I think would be beneficial for them. I can definitely do that. Just off the top of my head, I can't really think. There's no one coming to my mind, but you know, because I've not watched people on YouTube for ages now, because I've got my own style. But if people want to message me on Instagram, I'll be more than happy to point them in the direction of people that I think they'd benefit from.
Thank you. That's very helpful.
So what I'm doing here is I'm using a selective edit, because I felt like the squirrel wasn't standing out, so it's sort of blending into the background. So I want to try and make the squirrel stand out a little bit. So I'm just using the tools that we've got here, up the clarity a little bit, to just make it stand out a little bit more and show off the redness and the orangeness of this beautiful animal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to crop in a little bit more, I think.
Make him more the focus.
Yeah, I don't, you know, it's great to have all the bushy tail in, but I want to try and frame it a bit better. So let's just move there, I think. Another thing I do is use a linear gradient tool to, I always darken off. It seems to me I always darken off the corners. So I will darken it off here, because I like to draw people's attention, especially with an image where there's a you know, an animal or subject in the middle. I like to draw their attention to that. So where the lighting was on this photo was to the right. So here I might just put in a little bit of brightness here.
Lead the eye right to
and I might just warm that up a little bit, and then it's got a little mark on its face, so just going to just use the healing tool if I can, just to get rid of that. Sorry, squirrel. Let's just, hold on a minute, what's happening here? Let's just move that. Oh God, this can be the problem with your fingers get in the way.
Yes.
Your fingers get in the way. There we go. That's better. Okay, done. One thing I like to do as well, this particular photo was taken with quite a high ISO, because it was dusk basically, and the squirrels were out, and I really wanted to get a photograph. So when you zoom in, obviously it's very blurry and grainy, but that's because the ISO was high. But I needed a photograph, and because it's for social media, I'm not really bothered too much. I'm not printing in. So what I like to do as well is, because I want to bring the eye out a little bit more on him. So I'll just get the selective edit tool, and I will up the clarity a little bit. Just so it brings him out a little bit more. Yeah,
a little sparkle to his eye.
Yeah, I like that, a little sparkle to his eye. I think I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
It
looks beautiful. Shayna's asking, who's your favorite photographer aside from yourself?
Oh God. No, I would never say me. I really, really, really like, and I'm sure a lot of people know who he is, but Short Stash. I really like Garrett King. I really, really love his work. I love the vibe that he creates, and I love his storytelling element to his photographs. When I go out, I try to story tell a little bit more, and this is where like the use of carousel images work really well. So if I was going to a specific location, I would try and take as many photographs as I could of the surrounding area. So say I went to the castle, what else is around there that can really tell a story of your day? So you didn't just turn up and take a photograph of the castle and then go. You must have done other stuff. You may not have, but you may have. And it's just capturing a story as well, and then using. So I'll talk a little bit. I'll talk more about this tomorrow when I create the carousel stuff. But it's just capturing everything of your day, and he does it really well. So the picture might not end up on the carousel post. It might not end up as like the photo that sits on the grid, because it might not fit in with your feed. But when people go on that carousel and they see that like amazing castle photo, they can see all like what's around it and what else you've done. And I like how he does that. I think he's a really good photographer, and sort of inspired me to story tell with my work a little bit more.
Perfect. I love that. Thank you for sharing. Cody dropped his Instagram into the chat. So if you guys want to go check that out, you can click through there. Short stash.
Cool. Okay, so you can see the 4 photos on the bottom. They've all got the sort of the same colouring to it.
Absolutely.
So what you can do as well is, so if I go on, let's go on the popcorn trees. You can copy, if you're happy with the settings, I copy a lot. So copy settings, okay. Then I'll go to another photo. I don't know, let's go to, oh my God, I can't choose. Let's go to this, the chestnut. That's another thing as well. Like, I didn't go to this place just to shoot chestnuts.
Right, but you saw it.
Exactly. So I went there.
Yeah.
And was taking photographs of the trees and you know, the forest itself, but then it's getting actually on the ground and what's on the like the you know, the chestnuts and the leaves and what have you, just really focusing on the details, because that can be part of your carousel post. So, you know, you took a beautiful photograph of the forest, but while you were there, you also took, you know, you also got down on your knees and you got the chestnuts and you've got the acorns and you've got the details of the leaves. It really just creates a story of like, I didn't just go there and take a photograph of the forest, but there's more to it. So yeah, so if we paste the settings to there, okay, so it's got the crop in, so let's just move the crop over. I don't think that works well with this. So now I'll go in and edit it. So I've got the basics of like, you know, the preset, should we say. I've got the basics of that, and now I go in and tweak. So I'm going to up the warmth a little bit, and I think the oranges are too bright for me, I think.
And you could select which settings you wanted to copy, right? Like, you could only like copy over just like the contrast or just the temperature or something like that, so, if you wanted to.
Yeah, so if you go back and I go back to copy settings, if I didn't want the crop, let's get the crop, let's take off the healing, because obviously it's going to be a different, let's take off these because they're the tools. Mainly
that's so helpful.
It really is, honestly. The color, I want to keep the color grading. I want the color mix, I want sort of the saturation. Let's take the white balance off. Effects, I'm okay. I don't think I did too many effects on that photograph, but yeah, it's going to keep all the light stuff in, and including the tone curve. Okay, so yeah, let's just copy that, and then let's go back to the chestnut and paste it in. Okay, so it's pasted, but it's not actually done. It's not put the crop in, it's taken out all the other bits of tool and healing tool stuff. Okay, so I probably want to reduce a bit. Let's take the greens out a little bit. I like the greens to be a bit more muted.
Shayna's asking, how do you copy on mobile? There's no left click, so it's not clicking on like the image, like, or right clicking, left clicking. It's tapping those little dots in the top, right?
Yes, to there.
So if you guys can see the very top right corner, that's where she's clicking to then copy.
It's right up there,
right there,
top right, next to the cloud.
Yes, it's hard because we can't see your finger, but you know, you can kind of see it light up there.
Yeah,
so that's how you would copy, and then you would go. Yes, thank you.
So you go, you'd click on that, then you go to copy settings, there, copy settings, and then you can choose, and you can just untick, tick, go into light, untick, tick, 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 and you just choose. And when you're happy with that, you click the tick, and then go into the I don't know, let's go into this photo, and then click paste.
Perfect.
And then it sort of adds the basics. One thing I did want to show as well, actually, is if I wanted to create a preset, so let's go to this one, for example. So I want to create a preset out of this. Again, I go to the 3 dots on the top right, and then I go to create preset just below paste settings.
Yes.
And here, you can call your preset a name. So I don't know, let's just call it autumn. I don't know, autumn colour. Let's say autumn colour. And then you can choose a group that you want it to go in. I could put it in my presets there. And then, I can choose, do I want to include the tools like the linear and the radial gradients, the lights, the colours, You can actually go in again and choose what you want. And then when you're happy with that, you just click the tick. Boom. Now you've got your preset.
Nice.
So now if I was to go into, let's go into a forest shot. You then can go down to presets at the bottom, and my autumn colour one that I created there, the second one down, is there. And then you just click it,
and there
you go. It's applied. And look, and actually, I'm quite happy with that.
Yeah, it's actually beautiful.
I'm actually really happy with that. So what I'll probably do with this shot now is just heel tool the passing place sign.
Yeah.
I might just up the brightness ever so slightly, but so if I just go onto the healing tool
and start removing that,
and let's just start removing this. Tend to go side by side, because sometimes like that looks too obvious because there's 2 trees that look exactly the same. But you need to find a spot within. And if it's not becoming obvious, so really what I might do here is, if I come back out, I might just gradually do it. So I might just circle that
a little bit at a time,
and just do a little bit at a time, so it's not that obvious. And just get like different branches. I mean, it helps again that these leaves really help. They can cover up a lot.
Very forgiving.
Again, let's just go down there.
Yes, please keep asking questions. There are no silly questions. We want
no, definitely
to hear
not.
all your questions, all your comments. So thank you for asking them. If you guys are watching on YouTube, make sure to come over to Behance, behance.net/live. That's where we're going to be able to see you chat and see the questions that you are asking. And if you are just joining, we are here with Rachel Hanna. She is a wildlife, lifestyle, outdoors photographer, and she is editing on Lightroom Mobile today. So showing you all the tips and tricks for editing your images on the go. And honestly, you can't even tell they're edited on a phone. It looks so good. So feel free to ask questions and share your comments, your thoughts, and participate today.
Yeah, I'm going to get rid of this puddle. That puddle really annoys me. I think that might be. No, I don't like that. That's a little bit better. Let me just edit.
Yeah, sometimes when you zoom out is when you can really
tell.
Absolutely,
yeah,
when you're so close in, you can't really tell.
Sometimes when I edit, I'm like this
with it right in front of your face.
I can feel myself, like my phone is moving closer, and I have to remember that I am on camera. Don't do it. What am I doing? Right, I need to get rid of this puddle, don't I? Yes, because I'm not happy with this. Right, okay, I think I need to do a little bit at a time.
Little by little.
Yeah.
Something else to keep in mind too is that Max is happening super soon. It is October 26th through the 28th, and it is all online this year, and it's free. It's open to everyone. So make sure that you guys sign up, and it's going to be the place to connect with other creatives, learn, watch all of the really awesome talks that go on, and highly recommend joining that. And And before Max, leading up to it, there is something called Visual Conversations. And it's a place that you can interact with people before Max even starts. And every week there's a theme. And there's different conversations that are hosted by different artists. This week is photography. I believe next week is illustration. So you can share your work. You can get feedback from the artist and who's hosting the conversation. And you'll be able to see other people posting their work that goes along with that conversation as well. And essentially it's like a visual conversation that is without words. So there is some commenting, but it's kind of like communicating with the work that you've created, which is really cool. So Cody dropped the link to register for Max in the chat. And then the link for Visual Conversations is maxvisualconversation.com. So I'm sure Cody will drop the link to that as well. And yeah, make sure to check it out. It's really cool. I was looking at it yesterday, and it's just a really cool way to interact before we jump into Max, and yeah, just to connect with other artists all around the world, which is awesome.
Cool. One thing I did want to mention actually is I use sometimes with trees and you know, woodlands and forests and stuff, I use the clarity tool quite a bit, because sometimes I think if you take a photograph of a forest, the leaves can come across quite harsh. Like some people love the clarity, but I always find if you drop it down, it gives a really nice soft, dreamy feel to it, almost like, you know, sort of like Wonderland type stuff. So I always, not too much because it can be just really soft, but just enough where it's sort of it sort of blends the leaves together a little bit.
I love that.
So yeah, I'm quite happy with that. And yeah, that just came from creating the preset from a previous one and straight onto
beautiful.
That. Yeah. Yeah.
And how much faster is that than having to redo all of those steps?
I know.
Just being able to copy paste or just apply a preset is
super,
like a big time saver.
Yeah, if I didn't need to do the healing tool element to it, then I probably would have finished about 5 minutes ago. But it's just so much easier. And then obviously, if I was going on Instagram, I can crop it. But I quite like the leading road.
Yes, I love this.
So yeah, I mean, one thing I have done as well in the past is you can you know, get like leaf overlays, and like I'll go into Photoshop for like, I don't really use Photoshop, but like I'd go into Photoshop and put like a little leaf overlay, so it looks like the leaves are falling. And then you need to sort of like go back into Lightroom and just make sure the leaves are like sort of the same color and just it fits like. But so much. That's
so fun. These photos are making me so jealous of your fall. Where I'm at, we don't really, we have a little bit of change in colors, but not that much. It's nothing. Nowhere near this.
Where are you from then? Because I'm really jealous of like America's fall.
Well, I'm in San Jose, which is outside of San Francisco, and so we don't get much seasons here. It gets cooler, but there's not too much range in the weather. So we don't get, if you go into the mountains, you'll get some beautiful fall colors, but where I live, it's kind of stays pretty much the same, just slight changes. And this is just making me want to go into the mountains and actually see the colors change. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, it's just starting autumn here. It's sort of, it usually kicks off towards the end of October, beginning of November. And I've got a trip planned for the Lake District at the beginning of November. So I'm really hoping that everything is like beautiful and vibrant and red and orange. And there's a lot of sort of pine forests up there where they go sort of like yellow. They're like little, just like stuck out like little yellow like lollipops, just like amongst all the other green spruces. It's amazing.
Oh, that sounds amazing. I can't wait to see those photos of yours. It's going to be so fun.
I quite like this one. This was what I was passing by and I saw this like really cute little I don't know if it was for the sheep or whether it's someone's living in there, I don't know, but I thought it was really cute because I'm going to edit it up now and try and bring out the colours of the trees behind. I'm just going to look at my presets, and if I don't think one. I don't know, actually. I quite like autumn pinecone, I think, but I quite like autumn pinecone, but then there's too much blue. It's too much blue, so I would need to go and. Oh no, I didn't do the shadows on that one. No, I'm not happy with that, so I'm going to reset it, and I'm going to start from scratch, I think. Okay, so it's going to the curve.
Cody says, SoCal seasons are hot and less hot. Yes, that is true. Southern California has even less weather changes than Northern California. And then Robert says, you have to go to Colorado. Yes, I would love to go to Colorado. I've never been.
Oh, I'd just love to go to America.
Yes, come visit.
I've only been to Florida a few years ago, and we did all the stuff like the whole Disney and Orlando thing with my little sister.
So fun.
But you know, photography wise, it'd be a dream.
Yeah.
To go.
Anytime. I would love to go to the UK. I've never been there either. So we'll have to swap locations.
Yeah, let's just swap for a bit. Yeah, one day. Yeah. Okay, so let's warm this up a little bit. And let's try and bring out some oranges. So
that's so beautiful. That just makes the little house pop so much.
It does,
too.
yeah. I'm just going to drop, so it brings out the reds a little bit.
Shana says, come to Rochester, New York. We get the extremes of every season.
Did they get lots of snow?
Yes, I'm sure they get snow. Yeah.
Yeah, you see over there, like the snow. I mean, it's probably not, but it looks absolutely amazing because we just don't get any here. Like if it snows where I am, it's literally just like a little sprinkle of like a dusting of snow on the floor, and you might be able to make a snowman that's probably that, you know, the size of the water bottle. It's pointless. So if there's any snow, or I know there's any going to be forecast, if it's, you know, quite heavy, then I have to go somewhere quick and just take photos, because it's probably the only snow that we're going to get in November or December.
Wow.
Yeah, we don't get a lot. Just lots of wind and rain.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know what the greens, actually, it's not actually picking up many greens, but I'm going to drop them anyway. I might just crop that in a little bit more and make the little house more central.
Yeah.
See, what I would like to do in this one now is I wish more than anything that it had little smoke. You know, a little fire was burning.
I mean, that's something where you could go and get like a stock image from Adobe Stock and then Photoshop it in later.
Yeah, definitely. So I'd probably go and get like, you know, a bit of smoke. And just pop it in. It would really add to the photograph, I think.
It would make it even cozier.
Yeah,
set the scene more.
I think I'm happy with that. Yeah. Yeah, let's do this one. How am I for time? Am I okay for time?
You definitely have some time left. You're good.
Cool. It's fun presets. I don't see the winter brown one. I quite like. Oh no, it's too harsh actually. It looked all right in the little preview, in the little square, but actually no, it's too harsh. Yeah. Autumn color just makes everything orange. So in this case, you'd be like, oh my gosh, it is horrendously orange. Although orange is nice, there's too much in this. So I'd have to drop the temperature, and then drop the exposure. And then I'd have to go into colour and mix, and let's just drop the oranges a little bit. No, it's too much. I see some photographs on Instagram and people have gone a bit too a thingy with the hue.
Too far, yeah.
See some and it's all like red and it just looks like it's on fire.
Yeah.
Let's bring that back. I'll darken that off, it's too bright. So again, using that selective edit and the linear tool, you can sort of bring the eyes to the bridge.
Adding a little bit of shadow to the bottom, a little bit of vignetting.
Yeah, I like to do that a lot on my images. Sometimes, you know, the light was coming from the left and I might want to add in the light. Some people don't like that, but I just think it adds more to the image, because the image was a bit flat.
Right.
I want to try and
more dimension.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Cody says, I love the dropped exposure, nice and moody.
Yeah. I'm gonna go to the healing tool and try and get rid of this mass. Bring this back up here, and then we're going to make sure that it lines up with that. And then, because there's 2 branches there that look very similar, I'll need to just go back over that to blend it in a bit more. There you go.
Yeah, can't even tell.
No. And then if I look at that, and I'm not really keen on those little bits of scrub. So I might want to just get rid of the scrub.
Yeah, anything that's distracting.
Exactly, and just make the image a bit cleaner.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oops. Let's bring that over there a little bit. And yeah, we've got a bit more scrub here, so we'll literally scrub it out.
Scrub the scrub.
Yeah. I don't know, I might just get rid of the split scrub. Okay, that's all right.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so that was, let's go to before. It sort of adds, because, you know, some people, oh, what's that there? Some people might not like that, but that's your style and that's okay.
Yeah.
Everybody's different with their taste and what they like.
To see the before and after, are you just holding down the screen?
Yeah, literally. So I've just got my thumb and holding down on the screen like that.
And then it changes to the before, so you can compare.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so a lot of the time, I'm not doing it as much, but a lot of the time I will just sit there doing that.
Go back and forth.
It looks the image looks really red on the screen. I might just make it a bit warmer.
Yeah, I mean, the most important is what it looks like on your phone. So if it's looking a little different on screen, that's okay. We'll see the finished one on your feed eventually.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's that one. I'll say my choose one. I want to save some, you see, for tomorrow to create the series.
Yes. Yeah. Make sure that you guys watch tomorrow, because Rachel's going to be creating a series and using Adobe Spark, right? To kind of bring it all together. So make sure you join us tomorrow again, 9:30 Pacific.
I'm going to, this one was taken on the phone, so I had forgotten my camera, and we'd gone for a walk, and I don't know why I'd forgot my camera. I just did. I normally have it right on me all the time, but I had just forgotten. So this was taken with the iPhone. So let's try and edit this one. Let's just see if the presets. Let's go with Autumn Pinecone.
Shayna is asking, so what is a series? Do you want to kind of explain a little bit about what you'll be doing with that?
Yeah, so when I say series, I mean sort of a carousel series on Instagram. So like I mentioned before, you know, when you go somewhere, don't just focus on taking one photograph of the one subject that you want to go. Like for example, we wanted to see this castle. I took a photo of the castle, then I carried on walking around the grounds, and I was taking photographs of it from different angles. I was taking photographs of the forest, the things on the ground there, and just sort of like painting a picture of the area and what's surrounding it, rather than just going there, taking a snap and then going. So with the carousel series on Instagram, it shows people, like, you know, you've got your castle in your grid, and then if people want to scroll and see like the rest of your day and what else you saw, and, you know, add in your style to different photographs of things, you know, it's just storytelling. It's, you know, it's thinking about the bigger picture of why you're there. And yeah, just creating a lovely carousel photos. And what I tend to do is I put text over my photographs using Adobe Spark, just to sort of say to people like where it is and sort of the grid reference. And I'll be doing a little bit of that tomorrow on how to do that. So
perfect, thank you.
Yes. Let's drop the greens and I want them more yellow.
Sheena says, so the same general location, just chronological. Yeah. But you could create a series that's not the same location too. It's just a group of photos that belong together, tell a story. You could have like a series of all your squirrel shots, or you could have a series of just autumn shots in general. So
yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, but if you go out, you could do for example, I might do a Scottish Highland carousel, and it'll be
exactly
one from sort of the mountains, and it might be one of the train, and it might be one of the squirrel or the deer or whatever, and you just collate them all into a little carousel series. And it's just like showing people. I've got on my Behance profile, I've got a series of me exploring Snowdonia. So they're in Snowdonia is the like sort of the bigger area, but within Snowdonia there was like the tea room, or there was like other little elements and places to go and visit, and I just put them into a series.
I love that.
So if people want to go on and say, right, well, a bit like guides on Instagram, I've created some of where to go in Wales or where to go in Scotland, and you can click on it, you can see all these different places you can go and visit. A carousel could be that as well. So here's a carousel of places you can go and see in the Lake District or, Scotland. So it doesn't have to be that, where you've been that day.
Right.
I don't want the blues in this. I'm going to keep it nice and warm. Actually, I might need to adjust it now. It's gone a bit. Let's go on the curve. I'm not happy with that sky. That's the sky in a minute. Let's put my linear to draw attention. Sometimes if I don't think it's dark enough, I'll just pop another one in the corner.
Layer them.
Yeah. Let's go back to the sky in a minute. No, wrong blue. I think it's almost like the image is saying to me, no, keep the blue, stop trying to get the blue out. So I might keep the blue. It's almost like the clouds are saying, no, look, so if I do that you can see the clouds just look wrong. So I think it's saying keep. Actually, the blue doesn't look too bad.
Yeah, I don't mind them.
No. Okay. Before. After. Okay, yeah, I'm happy with that. I might have gotten rid of the bench, but I think the bench adds, there's some stuff there in the background I could get rid of. But for now, I think I'm happy with that. So as you can see now, sort of, I know this one I haven't edited up properly yet, but you can sort of see the same sort of colours. And I haven't edited this one up properly either. But you can sort of see, the style and sort of like the softer sort of feel to the photographs that I tend to go for.
Yeah, absolutely.
One thing I did want to, if I've got some time, is go into Adobe Spark and create an Instagram story. Or we have about 25-30 minutes. So Okay, right. Using the photos that we've edited so far. So if I go into Spark, Okay, so Spark, if you've never used Spark before, I highly recommend you using Spark. You can use it for carousel images, you can use it for your Instagram stories, you can use it for like templates of videos, and you can create covers and all sorts and highlights. So on Instagram, where you've got your highlights from Instagram stories, you can create your highlights from there, which I'll show you as well if we've got some time. But yeah, I definitely recommend, you've got all these different templates you can use, you've got icons, you've got photos, you've got everything. Just, yeah, I definitely recommend going on and getting an account and logging in.
Yeah, it's super, super helpful.
All these different sort of templates there. But if we start from scratch, if I just go into the plus sign, and I can go, the good thing is here, I can go into Lightroom from Adobe Spark. So if I go into Lightroom, it will pull up my albums. So if we go into Autumn Edits, where we've just been, excuse me, and let's choose this one.
Definitely the benefit of using multiple Adobe products, because they work so well together and they integrate so well, so you can so easily, just pull up your image right there or go back and forth.
Yeah, so I didn't need to export it or anything. I could just leave it in my album in Lightroom mobile, go onto Adobe Spark, and then go straight into my albums. So it just takes an extra step away, or an extra couple of steps away.
Yeah, it's so handy.
Okay, so I've pulled up the image, and if I wanted that as a 1x1 grid post, I could, but I don't. They have a template here for Instagram story. So if I click that, it will put it into 9x16, which is the ratio for it. And as you can see, because it's quite a big image, it doesn't fit in there 100%, but you know, you can play around with it till you're happy with an angle. So I don't know. Let's say, oh no, quite like that tree though. No, I'm gonna say there. No, I'm going there. Okay, so, and then when you're happy with your size, click done, and then automatically it allows you to add some text in if you want. So for example, here I could put I don't know, so I want people, so what I usually do, I'll take you back. So I will upload the photo to Instagram, I will share it onto my Instagram story so people can click it, but then I'll also share sort of like a full image, because when you do share it to your Instagram story, it only shares it in the sort of like 4x5. Whereas, you know, with this, you can put it as the picture as an Instagram story. And so then when people click next on your story, they can see it as like a full or bigger image. I like to do that. So I don't know, let's say autumn in Scotland, because that's what it is. And then, so with this as well, you've got all these options down here. You've got the different fonts that you can choose, and one particular font that I like to use is, where is it? Where are you? Where is it? Play. I can't see it. Oh, there, Playfair. I like to use this one. I really like this font. Exactly. And here as well, you can adjust the size. So just adjust that ever so slightly. If I want it in the middle, I can. I always like it down here, but you have to be mindful of you know, don't put it there and don't put it up there, because you won't see it. Up. Exactly. So usually it's around the middle or about there-ish. And as well, you can adjust the spacing, so you can really play around with the lettering. So if you wanted it spacey, you can. But for this instance, I probably won't. The opacity, so if you don't really want it to show, or you can. I'm going to have it as show, and colour. So let's change the colour, and one thing it really does well is it suggests colours for your font based on the colours in your photo. So, you know, okay, this one doesn't really work well, that one doesn't work well. You can choose, but it suggests some, and if they don't fit, that's fine. You can just carry on looking. I'll probably stick with this one.
Yeah.
The custard grey colour.
The lighter color so you can actually see it.
Yeah. And what I might like to do is add some more text. So you've got a range of different things, which I'll go into like in more detail tomorrow. But for this instance, get some more text, and I might say here, bye, and then it's Rachel Hannah. Done. And then again, I'm going to go to size and drop that down and spread it out, bring it down. And then you can choose, so it suggests there, but I might just bring it down a little bit. It's going to adjust. Oh yeah, you can adjust it by there as well. I just love this app. There's so many things you can do in it.
Yeah, there is. There's so much. Shane was asking, is this where Adobe fonts come in? So there's a whole bunch of fonts that are already in the app when you open it up. I believe you can also go like add more fonts to it. Like you can add your brand fonts. You can,
Yeah, no, definitely you can. You can add your brand, which I have. So if you click brandify, you can add your brand in one tap kind of thing. So then it adds in your colors, your favorite font.
So you don't have to change it every time.
So that's really, really handy. You can add in here if you really want. You can add icons. So if I wanted to put here, say, I don't know, let's put autumn in. Let's type autumn. And it comes up with loads of different things of like, you know, different leaves and and you can choose one that you like. For this one, I'm probably going to go with a leaf.
Yes, Cody also says you can access Spark on the browser as well for anyone who's unaware, and it is free to use. It's a great tool. Yeah. I especially love that you can add your brand in because then it's just super easy. Like if you're creating like a little graphic for your Instagram story or something like this where you're adding elements to an image, it's super handy just to be like, add my brand. And then you don't even have to like, it just saves you so much time. You don't have to go through the whole process of changing everything.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just so, you know, if you wanted to create something,
that's so
you know,
cute. Yeah.
I like that. It looks like it could be like, you know, creating like a, you know, a book cover or something. I don't know. And if you're happy, and when you're happy and you've created what you want to create, you can go to the top right, and then if you scroll to Instagram, it should, fingers crossed. Yeah, perfect. There you go.
Wow.
And then you can add it to your feed or add it to your story. Just like that. Done.
It's beautiful. Shayna's asking, to be a successful photographer, do you think that something like this would be required to have specifics for presets, fonts, styles, as well as an Instagram feed? What are your thoughts on that?
I think it all comes down to a style. So when you go back to Garrett King and Short Stash, he's got a specific style about him. He uses specific fonts, he uses specific colours in his work, and shoots a certain way. And I don't think it's whether it deems whether you're successful or not. Absolutely not. I don't think so. It's just good to have like a brand so people can recognize your work and go, that's Rachel, or that's Garrett, or, you know, because she shoots that way and he shoots that way, and they've got these colors and fonts and stuff. But I don't think it deems whether you're, you know, successful or not 100%. But I just think it's good to have a brand about yourself, so people can recognize your work. You never know, it might get put up at a show one day, and people straight away, you know, people can recognize your work straight off and be like, oh my God, you know, I want to buy that because that's such and such.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's definitely good to have a style. You know, get yourself a logo, get yourself a portfolio, and show off your work as well. Like, get yourself a portfolio, Adobe portfolio. You can create a website
for free.
You can create a free website, boom, you know, portfolio. So you can showcase your work that way. You can be successful without it, but I just think it helps.
It's helpful. Yeah. And your style can develop over time. You're probably not going to start out with necessarily one style, and your style is going to evolve. So it's okay just to start sharing your work, getting it out there, and seeing what develops as you continue shooting and growing.
Absolutely.
And any photographer you admire, if you scroll way back in their feed, you're going to see the changes in their style. You're going to see how far they've come, probably even over the last year. So I think that's always encouraging to like look
highly
back.
recommend going on my feed. I shouldn't be saying this, but I do. This is why, because some photographers will delete all of their, to archive their photographs.
Yeah.
So they only have, they've got, say for example, me, 15,000 followers, but they've only got like 10 photographs. And you're like, but that's because they've probably archived the photographs because they've moved styles. They're not happy with their previous styles and they don't want it on their feed anymore. Whereas I keep all of my photographs on there to show people that, I'm all about showing people I always say like starting from the bottom kind of thing, because I used to be really into like high saturated photographs. Like I would get a photograph of a sunset and I'd whack up the saturation, and I thought that was cool. I thought that was good at the time, and people did appreciate the work, people were nice. And that's the thing about Instagram as well, like people are nice and people do support your work. But when I look back at it now and I think, oh my goodness, what was I doing with the saturation slider? Like it was just like full on up. But again, you get inspired by a photographer and photographers, and you go out and you talk to people and how they edit, and you just use the tools that are available and you just develop your own style. So now mine is sort of like desaturated tones, they're sort of like muted and softer colors, because that's now what I like. But it took me a while and a lot of playing around to find that style. And even now normal. And that's normal, and even now, like, I'm transitioning into a whole different style. I had the sort of summery vibe or whatever, and I'm transferring now into autumn. Here, if I scroll like through to winter, they were completely different colours. They were like harsher and very muted and very blue and green. And there again, look, when it was, the little time that we had snow, the style of my feed was different. I'd go for a white image, then a dark image, then a white image, then a dark image, and it just changes. And it's okay. It doesn't mean whether you're successful or not. But it's just so good to have a style, although mine changes a lot.
Yeah.
The foundations are there, but it changes quite a bit.
Yeah. Cody says, I love scrolling through people's old work on Instagram. You can really see the evolution of their work. Exactly.
I mean, even if you go through to my old photographs, I feel like I need to just show you some like, let's just go. So this is when I sort of discovered the sort of curve tool,
right?
Because like you sort of that they're muted and sort of cause to it, and like here, look, it's all very yellow. It's all yellows, and so now I look at that and I'm like, I don't like that. But at the time, I loved it. At the time, I was like, I loved it, and now I look at it and be like, oh, why did I go with those colours? And then his was autumn 2019, and everything, is very red, and I probably wouldn't go with that much red anymore. Right. So, and here, look, very blues, just lots of blues and greens. I'm looking through it and I'm just like, why did I do this? And then there is an element where you carry on scrolling, and I've got photographs of my tea, I've got photographs of my family. I just wouldn't post that anymore. I mean, look at this one, like horrendously over like brightness and saturated green.
Right, and that's not your style anymore.
No, I'm very much muted. I mean, here I did go for a stage of like, there's just no colour, it's very drab brown winter.
Yeah.
So
Shayna's asking, so even if it doesn't fit your style, would you still post something to have diversity in your feed, or do you really just stick within your current style?
So I stick within my current style. So if the photograph isn't fitting right with my current style, so the colours aren't going right, I just don't think it fits in, I won't post it. but I'll save it, and then when I've changed my mind and I've gone to, you know, in 2-3 months time, when I've sort of changed the colours, how I want, you know, the colours to sit on my feed, right. I'll revisit that photo and add my next sort of style to it, and if it fits in with that, great, I can post it. But I've got hundreds of photographs that I just haven't posted yet, because you know, I try different styles to it and actually it doesn't fit. So
cool. Thank you for showing us all of that. That's super helpful.
You're welcome. So we were on Spark, weren't we? So that's that. What I wanted to quickly show, if I've got a few more minutes, is
we have about 10 minutes.
Highlights. So if I go back to my Instagram here, along the top here, I've got these different sort of highlights, and I've used similar colours to what I like. Again, very muted, very browns and greens. I could do with putting one in there at the moment now, which will transition to sort of autumn. So my boy, that's my dog. He's my best friend. So I might change that one to a bit more of an orangey colour, just so when people go on my feed, it sort of blends nicely into sort of the autumn transition and colours. So to create them, if you're not sure how to create them, you can create them in Adobe Spark, no problem. So again, you can go to new and solid colour, just choose a basic colour, I think, for now. I always just stick with a square, because you're going to be zooming in to create that highlight anyway, so I don't think it really matters on the sort of the template you use. I'm just going to get rid of the text because I'm not going to be using text on it. Let's just delete that. And then what I'll go into it is icons. So again, we'll pick an icon. And if we go with my dog, let's a paw print again. Let's just find a paw print, for example, and choose one that you're happy with. You can see there's loads, and it's really hard to choose.
Yes, because there's so many.
Honestly, there's so many. I spend more time looking at what icon I want to use. For the sake of this, let's go for that one there. That looks like a paw. That looks like my dog's paw, actually. Let's just go for that one. Okay, and then a line in the middle like that. So it's really good because it can show you where the middle is. And so the background, I wanted like a sort of orangey. So you click the background and it highlights it. Go to colour. And if there's nothing here that tickles your fancy, for me, they're a bit too saturated, I think, for what I want. That's too dark. Yeah, I'm not kidding. I mean, you can, if you're happy, you know, I could choose that one, for example, and then if you click the little slider tools,
you can adjust it.
Yeah, you can adjust. So I might change it a little bit. Oh no, it's too bright. Just go for there. I mean, if you've got the colour, if you have a colour palette and you know what your colour is, you can put it in the bottom here.
Yeah.
So you can actually type it in so you get your exact colour match. But I think for this purpose, I'm going to go for that colour. I don't like the colour of the paw print, so I'm going to change that. And I'm just going to keep it as white. But if white is too bright, which it looks like it is, I might just go along to the next one until it's muted a little bit. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. Okay, I might just reduce it ever so slightly and then put it in the middle. Okay, and that's as simple as that. Literally, I've got my highlight now. And then you just can save it. So solid colour, save it as a solid colour, and then you go back into Instagram. I'll go on the highlights. So these are all highlights of my dog. Edit highlight, and then edit cover. You can see it's got all pictures of my dog. Edit cover, and voila, you have it. It's that simple.
Wow, yeah, that's super handy. And you could go through and do that for all of yours, all your different highlights.
I'm gonna delete that off. Yeah, so. Yeah, and then there you'll just have all your, and if you're not happy with it, you think, oh, I need to swap it or go for a different one.
Yeah.
Again, you can just click on it, edit, and replace. So then you can choose a different pull, or you might want to go for one that's coloured, it's all coloured in. And yeah, it's just an amazing tool. It's that simple to create a highlight.
Yeah.
I do get asked a little bit how to create them, and honestly, it's like go into Spark, get a solid background, whack an icon in, and you've got it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Easy as that.
Cool. So I might use that actually, the previous one, but yeah. Because it's sort of the colours of the orange into this one here, so it goes quite well.
Yeah.
Actually, it matches quite well. So when I post that one onto my feed, it seems like the colour match.
It will pick up on that orange, yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. We have a couple minutes left, so if anyone has any last questions for Rachel,
yeah, definitely ask some questions.
Make sure to ask them
me
now.
Yeah, ask me anything about Lightroom Mobile. Ask me anything about my Instagram feed. Anything. Just I'll do my best to answer. Let's edit this one up.
Work on the chestnut a little bit more.
Yeah. Okay, select tool. Let's make, because again it's a subject that's in the middle. Let's make it stand out a bit more from the rest. So I brighten it up a little bit, up the clarity. Let's put a bit of a
that makes a huge difference already.
Yeah, let's put a little dark. Put something dark on there. I might just darken off the top a little bit.
Really draw your eye right to that little the little guy.
No, actually, no, I'm not keen on that actually darkening off. Let's see in the middle a bit more and have more of it as a focus in the centre. So that was before. It looks very bright actually.
Yeah.
Before. And then so it's just really enhancing.
That's a huge difference.
I might just put something just so it really brings the chestnut out. I literally sit for hours and just do this and just play around on the phone. People are, what are you doing? And I'm just sat on Lightroom just editing again and again and again.
There's so many adjustments that you can make. So how do you then decide you're done? Like, I'm done with this image, I'm ready to post it, it's been edited enough?
Yeah, so it's again, so once all these have been edited, I will then, if they all match, they all need to sort of blend together and match. So like, for example, what it's standing out to me at the moment that maybe the squirrel isn't standing out enough, so I'd probably go back and just make a few tweaks and maybe bring out the redness of the squirrel a little bit more. Because the other images are sort of focusing in on the reds and the oranges, whereas from my eye it looks a little bit, it needs to be a bit more orange, just to really enhance it a little bit. But yeah, it's usually I just play around. I mean, there's third-party apps you can go and plan your feed, which I do occasionally, but it's just running back through your photographs that you've edited, and checking that it all matches up and you're happy with it and it's got your style to it. And
yeah, absolutely. It's so cool that you can see them all together like that. I think that's really helpful.
Yeah, definitely. So
see how they're going to look all together.
Yeah, so that's why I create sort of like the autumn edits, because it's all going to be the same colours. So I might have a winter edit, so I might have a spring and summer edits. So they all have the same, sort of colours to them, so you can really see whether they match or not. And I do like to plan my feed in advance because life is busy.
Yes.
Life is very busy, and I don't have time. I don't have time to sit and edit like whenever I'd like to. So when I've got when I know I've got a spare evening, I'll just sit and edit a bulk of photographs.
Yeah, all at once.
all at once. And then I know I've got content available then to post on Instagram, because then for Instagram purposes, you need to be posting regular to, you know, stay at the top of people's feeds. You know, it's all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah,
there's lots of pressure, I think.
yes.
But it's all fun. Like, you know, there's nothing better than taking a photograph that you're so happy with, and you go back and edit it, and it's just what you thought in your head. Like, I live for that thrill. That's why I love what I do, because, you know, going to these places and taking these photographs and getting back and editing them in your style, and it just gives a real buzz.
Yeah, absolutely. And then being able to share them with other people.
Exactly. And then obviously share, like when people ask questions and they want to know, is sharing that information with them as well, and getting a buzz out of sharing that information, because you started there at one point, you didn't know how to do that at one point. So I think it's really important to sort of share with other people, you know, how to do certain things, and so they can create and find their own style themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's why I wanted to do this, because then, you know, I can show people how they can do it. And if, like I say, if they've got any other questions after this that they want to ask, they can message me, and I'm more than happy to help.
Yes, it's Rachel Hannah is Rachel's Instagram handle, so you can go message her there, follow her, and learn more from her. I love that. I love the when people love to share and aren't afraid to kind of share their secrets or how they do certain things. I think that's awesome. And I think we're all helped by that, you know? And then, like you said, everyone can kind of take your tips and tricks and use it to develop their own style for their own unique work. And I love that. Love that mentality.
Yeah, I just think, you know, I started there once, and I didn't know how to do these things. And if someone said, you know, I did have to do a lot of research, but if someone said to me, oh God, this is just how you do it, and that, then, you know, probably would have got there a little bit quicker.
Sure.
But it's good to share.
It is. Yeah, and we're going to be sharing even more tomorrow. Rachel is going to be you're going to go more into Adobe Spark. Is that kind of what you're thinking? Yeah.
So we'll do a little bit of we'll do a little bit more editing of the photos that I'm going to use to create the series in Adobe Spark. So we'll do edits together, and then I'll take those edits and then create a series out of them in Adobe Spark that you could use on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or wherever, or your website.
Awesome. That's going to be so fun. So make sure to join us here. Same place tomorrow, 9:30 Pacific time. We'll be back and showing you guys even more how to use Lightroom Mobile and Adobe Spark. And then right after the stream, there's going to be a replay of the Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge with Julia Masalska. So make sure you stick around for that. And then following that, there's going to be a video editing stream with Jessica Hirsch. So that's going to be really amazing as well. So stick around all day and join us tomorrow. We can't wait to see you here. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. See you tomorrow.